The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 18th day of June, 2021. It's 6 months in already, you guys?
6 months.
6 months. Wow. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications and Linders. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Michaela, Ian, and Sherry Vanderpool. Also, don't forget, Leanna is in the building as well, and she'll be with us a bit later to bring you her latest in her news break, the latest in the news break. How are you ladies doing today?
Today's a good day. I woke up and I was like, it's Friday and it's a long weekend and Shara's birthday is coming. So yeah, a whole vibe. Yes.
So I'm doing great. This is my weekend. This is my time of year. Anybody that knows me, my birthday is a big thing to me. So it's Good Vibes Friday. It's Celebration Friday. It's Heroes Weekend. I'm bright. I'm yellow.
I mean, I didn't get my invite to the party, Kales. You got yours?
I have yet to receive. I'm just going to say I have yet to receive an invite because, like I said in our chat, I bring the bottles. So I think you'd want me on the list.
Well,
I will keep you in mind for that. If it's anything for me, it's just I love the attention for 24 hours. It doesn't even have to be a party. Just make sure you call, sing happy birthday, all of that wonderful stuff.
Yeah, so, I'm the same.
And it's on the holiday. Can we?
Hey, a holiday birthday, it probably doesn't get better than a holiday birthday.
What?
But, yeah. Good morning to everyone out there, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as we welcome the granddaughter of Bermudian national hero, Dame Lois Brown Evans, Ariana Caines, into the house today. So it should be a good conversation. The daily play, well, it's the feud. So number one answers only. And these ladies, I mean, they're good. I mean,
we clean up, okay?
Yes.
We clean up. Money. Give me the money.
Put it this way here.
Money.
I think we should actually sign up to go on Family Feud as a group, because I think we would leave much richer.
You think you would win? You think you would do okay?
Oh, okay.
Like you think you could answer on the spot like that? Like you think so?
I would be Steve Harvey. I would be the host.
Listen, I've been watching Family Feud forever. I've always wanted to go on it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's have it.
That's why I said, you guys, I mean, I need to be on a winning team. I'm not that person. I'm not the captain. So I'll put you two out front, and then I'll be that person last on in the line that they get to.
Right.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. It's like playing
like somewhere in the middle, probably.
Yeah. We'll figure my strategy out.
But you're onto something, though, Jamal. We should have a daily hour Family Feud like situation. So I'm just putting that out there.
And as long as you all put me somewhere where I can't be seen, I'm good. I think we'll have a shot at winning. But look, it is the final Friday. We have a lot to discuss, jam-packed show. So the United States, the president of the United States just signed a bill, you guys. And a bill that makes Juneteenth a federal holiday.
Yes.
Well, first off, Juneteenth, would that be like Emancipation Day, Bermuda's Emancipation Day?
So this is what I thought. Okay. I thought that Juneteenth was like, we're celebrating the end of slavery in the United States. Unfortunately, I was schooled earlier this week by some women, Black African-American women who live in Texas. And they are like, absolutely not. This does not celebrate emancipation. This celebrates when the last slaves in Texas were finally freed. It's not the end of emancipation because all the other slaves were already free. And so at first I was like, is this really a technicality? But then I said, you know what? This is you guys' thing. I'm sitting here back. I'm listening. I'm not an African-American descendant of slaves. So I'm going to sit back and listen. And they were like, this is how we celebrate Juneteenth. It is not emancipation. So I said, okay.
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 Well, I'm on the AP, and just to give some people, if you don't know, some background, according to the the AP, Biden signs a bill making Juneteenth a federal holiday, and basically, according to the AP, the House voted 415 to 14 on Wednesday to send the bill to Biden, while the Senate passed the bill unanimously the day before. Juneteenth commemorates June 19th, 1865, when Union soldiers brought the news of freedom to enslaved Black people in Galveston, Texas, 2 months after the Confederacy had surrendered, right? That was about 2.5 years after the emancipation. So that's to Michaela's point right there, folks. And this is the first holiday that has been created, first federal holiday that's been created since when? Can any of you guess?
1983.
You got it. Dr. Martin Luther King holiday in 1983. No,
I knew it was Martin Luther King, but I wasn't sure the date.
Here's the question, though. Here's the question, because there's a lot of strong opinions about this, and I'll be very honest. It doesn't excite me the way it excites others. I feel like I was actually surprised to see there were so many celebrities and outspoken people that agreed with my position on it. I thought I was going to be that lone soldier as usual, but it doesn't do much for me simply because I think the fight that many, and Michaela was very clear right there, and I think I want to touch on that as well. And she said she's not a descendant of African Americans. They're very, very, with these groups, Foundational Black Americans, FBA, and ADOS, African Descendants of Slavery, are very much all about the African American descendant. And they've been pushing for years, not for a holiday, but they've been pushing for reparations. So I guess the question is, are you satisfied with a Juneteenth? Are you satisfied with a holiday?
Yeah, see, the thing about it is, for me, and when I first saw it, I was like, this is interesting, because I saw it on a friend's Facebook feed and she was excited. And I immediately went, this is a trinket. This is a trinket. And I really couldn't sum it up. But then I saw a tweet yesterday, and I should have screenshot it. But basically the tweet was, imagine if the Jews were satisfied by not getting reparations. Imagine if the Jews were satisfied by someone painting Jews Lives Matter on a street. Imagine if the Jews were satisfied by a holiday. Of course they wouldn't be. So why are we as Black people, well, I shouldn't say we, because I'm not African American, but you know what I mean. Why are people getting happy about the government giving you a holiday when they're not defunding the police? Black men are still being shot and killed, and they're not even allowing schools to be taught about Juneteenth. So is it a case of these white men who signed this, and I include President Biden in that, giving themselves a holiday? Like, come on.
I was like, I guess, Michaela and everybody else, excited about it at first, but until I heard the breakdown of it, and again, I'm not, and I spent some time in the States, a lot of time in the States, and you're right, Michaela. We're still dealing with Black Lives Matters. We're still dealing with, the police doing different things to our people, and so what does a day do for us? And especially if it's not even taught in schools. So everyone's got a holiday and they just excited. They getting paid on the holiday, and what, we're going to have Juneteenth sales now? How do you market that?
Well, it's interesting. As funny as that is, right? But as funny as that is, there are people that are actually saying, like, white Americans are going to do with Juneteenth what they've done with Cinco de Mayo and stuff. Like, is this going to be another commercialized thing within a few years?
And it's interesting you said Cinco de Mayo, because Americans celebrate Cinco de Mayo more than, the culture itself. They're like, it's just another day, but in America, those restaurants are sold out.
Reminds
and
me
that's
of
the thing. The thing about it is, it's crazy. It's because like companies in the U.S. are already making Juneteenth a thing. So there's this girl I follow, Demetria Lucas. She's like a cultural commenter in the U.S. And she put up this post yesterday, and there was a company who did like a spirit week for Juneteenth. So Monday was Motivational Monday. Tuesday was Taste of the Soul. So you're supposed to share your favorite soul recipes. Wednesday was Wild Out Wednesday, share your natural hair. Can that be any more problematic? Because this is wild. I know.
Wow.
No. And then Thursday was Thankful Thursday, share your favorite quote or poem from a Black author. And then today is supposed to be Fun Friday, rock your black, red, and green. And I was just like, this is problematic. Like, know that, Karen in HR was like, oh my God, the Blacks are going to love this.
Mm-hmm.
Not Karen. Not Karen.
But that's just a taste of it, and imagine what it's going to be next year, which is like insane to me.
And I think it goes back to Jamal's point that he had mentioned earlier part of this week, when you talk about labels, and when you talk about, this is Pride Month, and, and you have all of these labels just for that particular moment instead of it being celebrated at all times. So it's just reiterating those things happening.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on the Juneteenth holiday? Let us know how you're feeling. Does it do anything for you? Amanda Kelly Kills.
No, should be more. Sadly, because many of us of African descent don't know our history. We are divided by location. Yeah, that is true. I mean, there's that whole notion we're all the same, but the boat just stopped in different places.
Indeed. Shikarena, Sherry.
Juneteenth becoming a holiday is placebo. Ha! I love that, Shika.
Rosalind Famous says Cinco de Mayo is actually a made-up U.S. holiday. It has nothing to do with Mexico. Rosalind Famous, you actually need to get in touch with us to collect your belongings. You have about another week. So please hit us up, engage@thedailyhour.com. You keep getting me in trouble with my superiors. You won something. Now collect it now, unless you want to donate it. But no, she makes a great point, because it reminds me of St. Patrick's. It reminds me of St. Patrick's, how people say it's not, a lot of people say it's Irish people don't celebrate it. In the US, it's like this big thing, right? I feel like this holiday has the potential to be hijacked and treated in the same manner. And I don't see why any Black person would be excited. I can say, even some people are saying it's a step. I'm like, we've been taking steps since forever. You know what I'm saying? A step towards what? Like we've been taking forever.
It's not a step. And the thing that made me irritated about it was you had all these Black people in the room while Joe Biden is signing this. And I'm just like, y'all are serious with this? Like, you're really serious with this? Not to mention, like I can't remember how long it was, a month or 6 weeks ago, he signed a whole bill to protect the Asian American community, but you're giving the Black people a holiday for Juneteenth because that's going to do things. Woo! Yeah. Come on.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's real though. I mean, Carla John says the holiday is a gesture. Gestures are not equal to justice, and that's the bottom line right there, man. Nikki Hartman, Sherry.
I have not seen one friend on my timeline who is in any way excited about this. Everyone is confused and annoyed by it. I mean, definitely, but I would play devil's advocate in the sense of what is it in the classrooms and different things that can be done that's not going to be seen offensive. Michaela just talked about a whole week, and some of that was, well, maybe all of it, yeah. But what could we do, and not feel offended by it, and not get anybody hired to include, do an inclusion, because soon everyone's going to have an inclusion person on their team.
Right. But the thing about it is they're not teaching this in the classrooms.
Yeah.
They're not teaching this. And I mean, I grew up in the US from 12. I learned a lot about Black history, but not as much. I learned about Juneteenth as an adult, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of Black families, if you don't like, and this is what was going on this thread that I talked about earlier, these Black women from Texas were like, we are Juneteenth families. This is what we do. This is in my blood. We celebrate this year after year since I was a child, etc. But I mean, how many people don't know anything about it? And then you're not teaching it. So literally it's going to become white Americans are wearing red, black, and green and going to make, you know, their imitation African-American food. And it's going to be like Memorial Day for them.
Yeah.
Well, let me interject there. I too grew up in the States at 16, and guess where? Texas.
Oh gosh.
And I've never heard of it prior to that. I can't say that I heard it in my high school at all. And I was definitely at a predominantly white school that bussed in all different cultures like this. So in my neighborhood, those cultures didn't exist. That's when back then they were bussing in people.
Right.
But yeah, I was in Dallas from 16 to my early 20s. And yeah, I never heard of it.
Yeah, I just don't like the trinket aspect of it. I just like who thought this was a good idea? That's what I want to know. Like, who was like, let's give the Black people a holiday. They're gonna love this.
Well,
President Biden saying thank you for your vote.
Well, what gets me about the whole thing is what makes me feel so suspect about it is we just said the votes, right? And so the fact that so many, like 415 to 14 in the House, right? The fact that so many Republicans voted in favor of it tells me it's not in the best interest of Black people. It's not about Black people. It's not about because they're never about it. But Rashida Godwin says something here, as I stated. We've been taking steps throughout the African diaspora for since 1619. Like, I mean, I'm tired of taking steps. When are we going to arrive at the destination of justice?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, when we talk about reparations, people get all crazy. And I'm like, why? Like, Jewish people have gotten their reparations. Like, a good friend of mine lives in New York and she is Jewish. Well, her father's Jewish. Her and her brother went to Israel on a trip paid for by the government because they want everyone to go back to the homeland, if you will, and learn about the culture. And I'm just like, why is it such a big ask when Black people start talking about it? Like, that's not okay to me. And then even when you talk about Bermuda history in that regard, and we talk about how N.T. Butterfield went to the UK to collect the check on behalf of all the slave owners in Bermuda. And as a result, he started Butterfield Bank. And we start talking about these conversations and people freak out as if like we're asking for the moon. And it's like, no, we're not asking for the moon. We're asking to be on an even playing field. And giving a holiday to pacify people instead of putting us on an even playing field is hugely problematic to me.
Yeah.
Keyword, even playing field.
Yeah.
It's never been. And
no, it hasn't. It hasn't. And that's my problem with equality right there. Rosalind Famous, the government may use it as a symbol. It's up to the people to make it what they want, put power behind the symbol. I disagree. I highly disagree, Rosalind. And I disagree because, again, at the end of the day, I understand what you mean, but that's just not the way it works. That hasn't been the way it works. Now, can it work? No, because we've been getting trinkets, as Michaela mentioned, and they've been giving us these symbols, and it's easy to say it's up to the people to put power behind it, but I say no, we don't need these symbols. We need to, I was calling John the other day, right? And I want to explain this so people really understand what I mean. When I say I'm not fighting for inclusion or equality, I don't believe, there was something yesterday on CNN where the Supreme Court of the U.S. ruled in favor of the Catholic Church against having to marry a gay couple or something like that. Don't quote me exactly. But my issue with it is, instead of fighting to be a part of stuff sometimes, we should be building our own. The gay community, for instance, right? Instead of fighting to be, no, just build your own church. Like for me, I'm more interested in if I'm not allowed to bank with you, okay, who's got finance experience? Let's start our own Black bank. That's my mindset. That's how I think our mindset need to shift to get out of these spaces. So we can't rely on people who don't want us in their spaces, thinking that it's going to take us any place, you know?
I agree with you. And it's just, go ahead, Sherry.
I'm sorry. That's just the mentality that has been driven since the slave days. It definitely has transcended over the generations to where we are today, that our mentality is that we cannot do it on our own. We are dependent on somebody who is higher, lighter, whiter, and so forth to carry us through. And we don't think about it.
Yeah, I think that today in 2021, there are a lot of Black people who look at the notion of, I want a seat at the table and go, I'm going to build my own table. There are a lot of people who are in that space. There's a lot of Black entrepreneurs, like Black women are the highest percentage of entrepreneurs in the US, for instance. But there's still a lot of people who look at this mindset and think it's crazy and think it's a bit radical. But then when we go back a couple generations, you have Black people in Bermuda who created Barclay, a school of excellence for Black children. You know what I mean? So it's not crazy. It's not far off. I'm a big fan of, okay, I don't want to be at your table because you don't want me.
We have to move on, Kales. Sorry. That's a hot one. Let's just go to a few comments before we bring in Leanna. Amanda Kelly says, find out about it in the church via Vacation Bible School curriculum. Anika D. Shields, this information has been made very public over the last year or so about the antibiotic. It's just go through social media and type, but it's been made very available. I think Curb has been sharing it as well. So I first found out about this when I went to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C., that slave owners pretty much got paid out for having to give up the enslaved people. So this is how a lot of the wealth was built in. And that's why we talk about, generational wealth and so on. Dr. Kendra Lee Pierman says, unfortunately, Black people will most likely never be seen as equal. I don't want to be seen as they're equal. I just want justice. And let's just end with these three comments, one each. I'll go. Amanda Kelly says exactly, Blacks lack in most areas. In the USA, you are discriminated by zip code. You are paid less, even your education is better. Let me stop right there. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is what made me sick to my stomach when I lived in New Jersey. Oh, if you live in Maplewood, the schools are better. Oh, we should try to live there. No. That's not how it should work. If you live in Newark, oh, the schools are worse. No, that's not how it should work. We have to understand that this mindset of white supremacy is not in our best interest. So, people say, I think it was Bobby Sumner, don't quote me, saying, the problem with the revolution is the revolutionaries started sending their children to white institutions. So when you ask what happened to the revolution, that is your answer. Rashida Godwin, Kales.
That's also the Marcus Garvey concept for Black people building their own systems of self-determination. And it's absolutely the way forward for Black people. Create your own and stop with the paternalism of white supremacy. Yes, absolutely.
Sherry, let's clear this out with Carla John.
If my tax dollars are paying for services that don't include me, I'm ready to knock doors down to take what's mine.
Indeed. And Marjorie Patterson, just one more, says, I heard about Juneteenth when I first went to Texas in 1989. To have it acknowledged is important. Every step takes us forward. I disagree again. These steps have been taking us forward for 400 years, folks. We have to want better. Honestly, we have to want better. I get your point. I do. But we've been taking steps forever. Some people just take one step and they've arrived at their destination. Black people have been taking step after step after step. And guess what? We're still on that Underground Railroad. Let's bring in Lee. How you doing?
Wait, Jamal, that's my mother. Don't go against her.
Oh, well, Mom, we love you. Mom, I take it back. Lee, look, Lee, save me from Mama Patterson.
I can't. You're on your own today.
So, first off, I'm going to pick them if you burn to pick however it goes. Did you and Sherry do this? Say, well, Jamal and Michaela got this clothing thing down. They dress alike, so I'm going to do the same or something?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, finally. I am no longer the stepchild. I have someone who is in my corner. Sherry, you are the MVP of today. Because these two here, they're, matching all week and not giving anyone a heads up. Like,
and we got on our revolution shirts today, too.
Oh, yeah. Gotta show the shirts, right, Kayla?
To be free.
Gotta show the shirts.
It's very sweet.
Well, you know what? Honestly, we'll accept the colors today as long as Sherry doesn't bring that nonsense, that red and blue nonsense
Oh, no.
in the house. We are good, you know?
We don't want it.
But you know what, Sherry? I have to say, Sherry, we're bringing the sunshine on a rainy day today. How about that?
Yes,
So
we are.
We'll
Yes,
take
we
it.
are.
We'll take it.
I like it. See what you did there. I like it, Lee. Take it over to the news break, and we'll be back. We have the daughter of the late Dame Lois Brown Evans in the house, Ariana Caines. Should be a good conversation. Don't go anywhere. Over to you, Lee.
Thanks, Jamal, Michaela, and Sherry. TGIF to everyone that's tuned in with us. We made it to the end of the week. I hope everyone is having a great start to their day and is ready for the long holiday weekend. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for your Daily Hour news break. Now, here's what's going on in today's top stories. A gunman was found guilty of attempted murder and witness intimidation and was jailed for 30 years yesterday. 33-year-old Jamiko Trott was told by acting justice Judge Craig Attridge that it was a brazen attempt to kill in broad daylight. Judge Attridge added that the crime carried all the hallmarks of the arrogant man who you have admitted to be. Now, Trott was convicted on March 30th and was also found guilty of carrying a firearm with criminal intent, use of a firearm, and witness intimidation. He was cleared of bribing the same witness. Now, Trott, who represented himself, told the Supreme Court in his sentence that he should reflect that the injuries caused to the victim, who cannot be named for legal reasons, were quote unquote so superficial and that he did not need treatment. But Mr. Justice Attridge said that, quote, while his injuries were gratifyingly slight, the victim continues to suffer from flashbacks, trauma, and anxiety brought about by your actions, end quote. COVID-19 emergency grant funding program will officially come to an end on Sunday, along with the several restrictions announced by government earlier this week, just 2 months after it was launched. The Bermuda Economic Development Corporation said that COVID-19 in a statement yesterday that any last applications to be considered for support of businesses impacted during the public health restrictions and stay-at-home order during March, April, and May this year must be submitted to bedc.bm/COVID-19 emergency grant funding by no later than 11:59 on Saturday night. The emergency grants issued are to be used to cover unpaid business expenses within the 3-month period and included expenses such as rent, utilities, social insurance, and health insurance premiums. Reimbursements of any paid expenses within any of the latter 4 grant categories are not permitted within this grant program. Although the emergency grant will no longer be available after Sunday, the BEDC said it will continue its support of businesses impacted by the pandemic through entrepreneurship, education, webinars, and courses to help businesses learn much needed skills to help them survive and eventually thrive. If you've recently drove past Shelly Bay Beach and wondered what was being built in the old concession spot, well, yesterday it was unveiled that the new patio was built in honor of the late Laverne Furbert, who was best known to be an area resident, union veteran, and social commentator. Now, Premier David Burt was among those in attendance for the unveiling yesterday afternoon, along with organizers and local firms which donated furniture to outfit the space. And despite the dampening news received this week regarding a no-go for the annual Cup Match Classic, not all hope is lost as the Eastern County Cricket Association, or ECCA, have announced that they have decided to proceed with the hosting of the annual 3-match classic. ECCA President Stephen Douglas said that the county games play a vital role in preserving and promoting Bermuda's vibrant and community-oriented culture. He said, quote, the return of the classic is even more important this year as it will remind us of how important life is and that we cannot take our traditions, cultural experiences, and community sports-based events for granted, end quote. The classic was canceled in 2020 due to the global pandemic, but all 4 member clubs are said to be eager to see this event play on, with the first match set to kick off on July 17th. Now, organizers will be holding a press conference later today to provide more details. So that is something that we want to stay tuned to. Looking at today's weather, we have a high near 78 and a low near 71 degrees. It is a bit cloudy start to today with showers. However, we'll see an improvement by this afternoon through the night. A nearby frontal boundary looming on our doorstep brings periods of rains and showers to the island, along with a risk of thunder this evening and into the beginning of Friday. The front will pass over Bermuda today and exit by Friday afternoon with building high pressure and settling conditions. Expect a return of clearer skies with a slightly cooler and less humid breeze for the remainder of the holiday weekend. That's all for the Daily Hour news break, but we are wishing those out there, of course, a happy Bermuda Heroes Day on Monday. Let's head back to Jamel, Michaela, and Sherry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
All right, Lee, we're a bit behind time, so have yourself a safe holiday weekend, and see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You as well. Sherry, happy birthday when it comes.
All right, we'll be right back with Ariana Caines. Do not go anywhere.
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
We're welcoming back the often featured Whole Food veterans Bragg Live Food Products, renowned for their live probiotic organic raw cider vinegar and savory seasonings. Paul Bragg is the man behind the products that has originated health food stores, restaurants, and spas, and promoted nutrition education through the media, helping lay the foundation for the enlightened way we make healthful choices when we shop for and prepare food. This month we're featuring Bragg Organic Raw and Unfiltered Apple Cider Vinegar and Organic Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Welcome back to the big show, Michaela and Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over at Channel 82, where you can watch this and many other locally produced shows. Just go on the internet, search Channel 82, and you will find some good content, all right? Let's bring in Ariana Caines. She is the daughter of the late Dame Lois Brown Evans, and she is, well, she's got her own thing going on. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank y'all so much for having me.
No problem. Let's get straight to the conversation. We're tight for time, but many people know the name Dame Lois Brown Evans. But who was she to you, and what are some of your most fond memories of your grandmother?
Wow. To me, she was Nana. First and foremost, always. She really, whenever she would come up to see us, I grew up in Philadelphia. And so whenever she would come up to see us, she would only be Nana. She was very much so personable, warm, caring. My fondest memories, she taught me how to read, taught me how to spell. I'm still not the greatest speller, so hopefully she forgive me for that. But and dancing, she loved to dance. The woman loved to dance. She taught me how to wind my waist when I was 10. Which a lot of people are like, really, the Dame taught you that? Absolutely, probably one of my best life lessons from her. But that's who she was. She was a loving grandmother at all times.
That's incredible. I love those stories. So what made you want to study law, and what area of law are you specializing in?
So I was drawn to the law very early. In fact, my Nana and I used to watch Law and Order Special Victims Unit together. And I always say, like, I had no idea who I was sitting next to. You know, I was just sitting there with her watching it on TV. And now going back, there's so many things I would have wanted to have asked her. And she never pushed it in any way. We just would sit there enjoying it. And I fell in love with courtroom advocacy. And so I knew I always wanted to go into court. I told her very frankly that I wanted to be a lawyer one day, but I wanted to, unlike her, she would help the people. I told her, Nana, I want to make money. And so, but funny enough, my initial start when I was practicing in England and Wales was in criminal law. So I say she gets a good laugh knowing that I went helping people making no money as the start of my career. But now I focus particularly here in Bermuda. I'm not practicing at the moment. though I was called to the bar last week. I'm right now looking at doing operations work, and I'm working for a fintech company.
Awesome. First off, congratulations on passing the bar last week. That's so exciting. So how do you feel to be following in your Nana's footsteps?
I'm incredibly grateful for the legacy. Aside from the fact that she was my Nana, she was the first woman lawyer in this country. And so as a woman, to have that as a trailblazing effort, to think of her efforts, Shirley D. Simmons' efforts, Anne Cartwright Takuto's efforts, and the powerhouse litigators that they were, the powerhouse lawyers that they were, and legal minds that they were, aside from the fact that they were women. And so to have that as a starting legacy, as our first 3 women lawyers on this island, to be able to just follow in that legacy I'm incredibly grateful and humbled. We have amazing women here at the bar. And so I feel very blessed to be able to now call myself amongst their peers, or now being, once I start practicing amongst them. But as the granddaughter of Dame Lois Brown Evans, I'm just grateful to have been able to share what was honestly a passion and a love of both of ours. I wish she could be here, but I know and hope that she's smiling down on me.
As you mentioned, your grandmother, she was the first female, but she has a few other firsts.
Absolutely.
The first female attorney general, the first female opposition leader. How do you feel when you hear about all of your grandmother's firsts?
I feel proud. I feel proud as her granddaughter to, have this person be in my family line. But even more than that, I'm so proud of the fact that she was at all times humble and personable. Nobody was lower than her. She was never too important to stop and have a chat. I remember being a kid and coming down during the summer and being like, oh my gosh, Nana, you talk to everyone. Why do we have to go and speak to everyone? Why can't we go to the beach because you have meetings and all these things? But I'm incredibly proud of that element, that in all of her firsts, the people always came first at the same time. And then as a Black woman and as a Black Bermudian woman, it gives me so much pride to know that the first woman to do all of that was one of us.
Yes.
That's incredible. So do you find these incredible accomplishments an asset or a burden?
I'm not sure if I use either one of those words. I would definitely say it's an inspiration, and it's a reminder that at the core ethos of who we are as a family, it's about service. I look at my mother, I look at my aunts, I look at my father and even my dad's side of the family, and we are a people who believes in service, whether it's in the church, whether it's political, whether it's in our workspaces. Service is at the heart of what we do. And so if nothing else, it's actually provided me with an anchor, and knowing that, it's in my roots, it's in who I am, it's in my blood, that if I'm ever lost and confused on what I want to do, start at service and I'll find my way.
That's beautiful. I really like that you're coming from a service point of view, because you don't hear that often these days. So tell us about the legacy you want to leave behind. What does that look like?
For me, I really want to, and whatever I do, lead with empathy and a pursuit of accuracy. And that's pretty much it. Whether it's practicing law, I knew, like in my practice in the United Kingdom, I always tried to focus on those two things. If I was dealing with a client, even if approaching it and it was more so of a corporate client, making sure that you're in all times approaching the situation systematically and with empathy, it just makes things go smoother. And then, of course, pursuit of accuracy. I like to get it right. I don't mind reading a little bit extra to get it right. But I hope if someone, 40 years from now talks about my career, whatever it ends up being, I hope they say, Ariana Caines, she was empathetic, she was kind, but she got it right.
Love it.
Well, Monday is a holiday, and it's National Heroes Day. And in 2008, government announced that Dame Lois Brown Evans will be declared Bermuda's first national hero. How does it feel that she has this other first, and how do you plan on spending the day?
It's actually it's always been very reflective, but it's even more, I think, reflective now as my sister is pregnant and she's actually expecting in the next couple of weeks her first child and what would have been the first great grandchild for my grandmother. And so it's really something you start to think about family and what legacy means and what you want to pass down. And for me, I know it means that I want to make sure that in whatever space, now that my name, people associated with hers, that is respected and honored and continue to be respected and honored. But also at the end of the day that, again, you are a national hero, which means that you are for the people. And so making sure that at all times, that, as she's always told me, the people come first. And so making sure that that part of her legacy is not forgotten, that she loved the people, she loved this island like nothing else.
Wow, that's beautiful.
No, it's an awesome conversation, and congratulations to your sister and your family on the new edition. Probably the next lawyer in a long line, I'm sure. But,
I won't put that pressure on my soon-to-be nephew. I always say one family full of lawyers has one sacrificial lamb. I was the one. Everyone had common sense. They did not do law. They had far better judgment than me, but I've done it. So I'll let that baby do whatever he wants to do.
Indeed. So you're in the legal field. You passed the bar. You were actually, it happened in the Dame Lois Brown Evans, right? Where you were.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, how did that feel? That moment, knowing that this building is named after my nana.
Even just thinking about it now, it was full circle moment. Yeah. It was a full circle moment entirely. When I was actually called to the bar in England and Wales, I was called in our Inn of Court, which what would have been, I believe, 65 years after she had been called to the bar in that same hall, wearing her wig. And so to end it, and in terms of, I don't think I'm going to do much more in terms of studying, getting called to the bar to this. So to end that part of my chapter in her building, it felt like a full circle moment. And it's always been a blessing for me to be able to kind of share these monumental moments, graduating from her beloved Berkeley, being a Middle Templar, her Inn of Court, and now being called to the bar in the Dame Lois Brown Evans building. I get to almost share the moments with her, and I can't express my gratitude for that opportunity. It was a blessing.
Indeed. Wow. Obviously, she was a well-known politician. You know, what are your thoughts? I mean, you are a lawyer. I know this is probably, I'm almost predicting what your response is going to be. What are your thoughts on politics? Any interest in going that route sometime in your life?
Well, similar to Sherry and Michaela, I grew up actually in the States, and so politics is just part of it. It's a part of the conversation. It was a part of my daily rundown with my dad. I grew up on MSNBC and CNN, and so I've always had a love for politics and the service element of it. Whether or not it's something that I do here in Bermuda, I'm still, waiting to hear that calling and waiting to see what happens. But what I'm most excited about is that I always wanted with my law degree to come back and be able to help wherever possible. If it's politics, we'll see. But right now I'm just excited to help.
She didn't say no, Jamal. She did not. She is a great lawyer. She said that really, really well. I was like, all right, Ariana.
That was a wow. Yeah, you
I said nothing more on the topic.
She sounded like a politician.
If you have any questions or comments for Ariana, please, we'll do our best to share all of them. Just type away. Obviously, Renita Graham says, so proud of you. Anika De Shields, and leads to another question. Anika De Shields says, I learned much of Bermuda history from the Dame and Freddie Wade. They were the PLP MPs in my constituency as a child. My great-grandmother used to make me sit and listen when they came every year. So what was it, a conversation? Like you said, she would come visit you in Philadelphia and so on. Just take us through, if you can remember, a conversation from your grandmother about Bermuda, because being in Philadelphia, you probably didn't experience Bermuda as much as maybe myself. So what was a conversation like with her, and how did it impact you growing up?
I don't wish to, I'll be careful because my grandmother passed when I was 12. And so going back and trying to remember, I don't want to misremember, but I will kind of, if I may, answer the question differently, which I know sounds like a politician. Sorry. I actually remember being on the motorcade when the PLP won the general election in '98, the motorcade that happened the following year. And so that to me is one of those moments in kind of just like realizing and seeing her love for Bermuda. I remember there's a picture, my sister is there waving like Miss Bermuda, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, all these people. And my Nana was just so proud and so excited. And so just in love with this place. And I could see it even at like 4 or 5, I could feel that energy. And she wanted us to love it. She wanted us to be a part of it. She wanted us to know Bermuda. And it was important for her when we came down to be as involved and as ingrained and incorporated in Bermudian culture and to be educated on it. And so it does not surprise me at all that she would sit down and educate anyone who would listen or who would try not to listen, but she would make sure you listened because she loved this country, as I said, and she took so much pride in it, and she wanted to pass that on. I think if anything else, that pride in being West Indian and in being Bermudian.
What advice? There are so many young people out there. Some are mastering the arts, some are going the legal road. What advice would you give to younger Bermudians who might want to, say, look, I'm watching Ariana, I'm listening to Ariana, I want to possibly go that route as well. What advice would you give them?
I think it's so cliche, but I always try to tell young people that remember, it's a journey, it's a process, and the most beautiful part about it is getting to know yourself and learning about where you want to go. When I started this whole thing, I thought I was going to go to UPenn, end up at Georgetown, be a human rights lawyer in Philly. That's what I thought. I honestly thought that. And here I am, a completely different route. And it's been a lot of twists and turns and a lot of ups and downs, a lot of failing forward. And the most important thing I would say is just remembering that and being gentle with yourself along the way. Success is relative. And so as you're learning, know that that's what it's all about. It's not about being a lawyer. It's not about being an artist. It's not about being anything. It's about being a better version of yourself every single day, which I know sounds so cliche, but that's the only thing that's kept me sane through this journey. That, my mama, and Jesus. So that's it.
You have such an old spirit. I love it.
Seriously. Honestly, like the failing forward is like what I live by. And so I love that you said that.
I took that as well, Chaos. I was like, man, I appreciate that. But I honestly don't even see it as cliche. I think it's stuff that we need to repeat. The more you repeat it, the more you actually start to believe it and start to live it. So I appreciate it. Ariana, it's been a pleasure, honestly. It's been a refreshing conversation having you. We wish you nothing but the best. And as you move forward in your career, I believe that Sherry and Michaela are going to be like, let's get Ariana on for it.
Yes.
I'll be calling on you quite often, honestly. I mean, just looking at Carlton Fleming's comment, she's a star. And this is not to put pressure on you, but it really is refreshing to hear and watch someone like you display such maturity. I'm saying maturity. Notice I didn't say right? I didn't say that to nobody. But
you sound like a politician.
Never.
No. But no, thank you for this conversation. Obviously, your mother, we can't thank her enough for helping arrange you to come on. But please keep the door open. I know you're going to get busy as your career moves on. But please just remember us so that you can come back and have some conversations with us.
Absolutely. This has been such an honor for me. Thank y'all so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ariana. Have a great one.
Have a good weekend.
Enjoy the holiday weekend.
Yes, happy birthday, Sharon. Happy National Hero Weekend.
All right.
I love it.
All right.
Bye.
Rashida Godwin says, Dame Lois Brown Evans was an absolutely amazing and fascinating woman, and I enjoy reading and learning about her contributions to Bermuda's history, an exemplary passion with moving Bermuda forward. It's such an honor. That was a brilliant conversation. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, she has a beautiful spirit, and
Absolutely.
you can see that, you know, her grandmother, her nana it just flows through her. And like you say, a failing forward. Oh, I love that. That's my quote right now.
Yeah, and the part.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say that it was crazy how Michaela picked that up, because I was gonna say, like, that right there. I'm clipping that.
Yeah. The failing forward is so important, because I think when we have things and they just don't work out right, we're so critical of ourselves. But when we approach it from failing forward, and then the other part that she said was trying to be the best version of yourself every day, like that's another big component that I think people kind of forget. So she hit those up the park for me. Loved it.
Yeah, loved every bit.
Sherry, you're gonna give us something to feel good about after the break?
Sure.
Okay. It's your birthday, so I mean, we're expecting a piece of birthday cake. We're gonna take a quick break.
Hello.
It's daily playtime, so we're gonna do a giveaway too. So don't go anywhere. The hashtag, you know what it is already. I'm not gonna tell you till after the break, but you know what it is already, right? I hope they do.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I think we should make it something about me.
Well, you know what? Happy birthday, Sherry is going to be it. It's Sherry with 2 R's, folks. Sherry with 2 R's. It's not going to be the same. We'll be right back.
Tune in to the Full 100 Radio every Tuesday through Sunday at 7 p.m. Bermuda time as we bring you the love, romance, sexiness with nighttime jams, only on your station for conversations and entertainment. The Full 100 Radio. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Michaela N, Sherry Vanderpool, the birthday girl. I'm Jamal Hartman. Thanks again to One Communications, Lindo's, I forgot, Medical House, 82, and all of you for joining us. Thanks. If you enjoyed that conversation with Ariana, please make sure you know what to do. Thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you show some love for her. So, folks, Sherry's name's not spelled C, it's S-H.
It's right on the screen.
Right, it's right there.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of my emails, right? So, I would email people. Sherry, don't laugh, because look, I'm not even gonna put her on the spot. But you email, someone emails you, or you email them, right? And your name's spelled in your email, but they still take it upon themselves to spell it any way they want. So Sherry's name's on the screen, folks. So happy birthday, Sherry. Is gonna be, it's not an E on the after the I either. Just type what you see on the screen, please. Just type. And make sure you show some love to Ariana Caines as well. Sherry, anything before we get to the daily play?
Well, like I said, it's Good Vibes Friday. It's all about Sherry this weekend in celebration of my birthday. But in addition, let's not forget it's National Heroes Day. And please look into the 8 national heroes that we have. Of course, Mary Prince, Sir John Swan, Dr. Roosevelt Brown, E.F. Gordon, and so forth. And learn something about these national heroes that you may not have known before. We talked about Juneteenth earlier, and we don't know much about it. So know about our own Bermuda history. Make that a good vibe for yourself. In addition to, if you enjoyed Carnival about 2 years ago now, still have that Carnival Heroes Day vibe going on this week. So that would be your good vibes for this week.
Honestly, I love that. And you just did something. And please, Michaela, please tell me that you are in the same boat, so I don't feel as ridiculous as I do.
What boat?
She just said, right? She started naming some of the 8. And I honestly can't name. So let me try. Daniel John Evans.
Yes.
Dr. Paulu Camarafego.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir John Swan.
Yes.
What's the guy? The premier after not E.F. Gordon. E.F. Gordon. I don't know. I think E.F. Gordon. That's how many? 4, right?
4. You got 2 more sirs.
Yeah, Sir E.T. Richards, not E.T. Richards, the one after him. Tucker.
Yes.
Henry.
Okay, that's 6.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was 5. I must have missed one.
I got 5.
I counted 5, Jamal.
So I've got 3 more.
Barbara Ball.
Nope.
No. Oh.
2 women and a sir.
Women.
Mary Prince.
I was gonna say, come on, Michaela.
Yes, Mary Prince. That's 6.
Sir.
Word. E.T. Richards. Richards,
7.
Right?
One more.
It's a male or female?
Female. And the Pips stood behind her. Come on.
Gladys Knight?
No, it's not, but Gladys.
Moral.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Kathy Brumby, I'm so sorry. But no, the reason I do that, and look, folks, we're real. Like, and this is what I'm saying. Like, this is not about being perfect and no. We have to make ourselves vulnerable. And at the end of the day, we've been alive for every last one of these heroes being named. And so we don't know that how many people in Bermuda you think know this stuff. So this is not about being right or looking silly. At the end of the day, we're real people. And so I appreciate Shara's feel good today. Thank you for that, because we didn't know what she was going to do, but I appreciate that because these are learning moments for us all.
For me as well.
Yeah.
So please, I looked it up, and so I know the 8 from that, and I knew some of them, but I didn't know all. So, right. Definitely.
I honestly appreciate it. But look, let's get to the daily play. Let's go to some fun and let's see if I can trip them up. All right, it's the Daily Play brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol, my friends. Are you ready, ladies?
Not on my birthday, Jamal. I'm going to tell you that now.
Here we go. We'll get to the giveaway after this. Name something parents hope their son has done by the time he's 30.
Married.
Wow, they are good. You know what I was going to say? I was like, please say moved out first. But no, married was number 1, moved out number 2, good job number 3, have kids number 4, and college degree number 5. All right, next. Name a term used in a game of bowling.
Strike.
They're not even giving you a chance, audience. And here's the last one for the day before we get to the giveaway. Name something magicians try to escape from.
A box.
Anybody who's watched this show, this was never this easy. So
I'm competitive, Jamal.
I mean, their brains are just, they work. Look, we're gonna do the giveaway. Let's see how many people we have up for the giveaway. Happy birthday, Sherry is the hashtag. I know I've seen a lot of you on here, but looks like it's only 19. So
come on, people, give me 21 at least for June 21st. Give me 21.
Honestly, you know how I think what's happening, a lot of people haven't been spelling it right. I think some people are still putting IE looks like. So I'll give you a chance. Just, you know what I'll do if I were you folks? Just copy and paste the person before. Manuela John, make sure you put the hashtag first. Make sure you put the hashtag. You got to put the hashtag. So I want you all have a chance. I don't want to say, Janelle me, and Sherry hooked her mama up, and I don't want that stuff. I don't want that stuff.
Marjorie Patterson better spell it right.
I think she's in the house. I think she did. I think she got it right.
Okay, good. Stop.
I'll never forget one time my mother spelled my name Jamal, Jamal. I was like, that's not how you spell my name. She goes, I know, I named you. I was just checking. I was like, really, player? Come on.
Jamal shut me down one time. He was just like, okay, let's just start this. It's Jamal, not Jamal. So one time I sent him an email, Jamal, something. I just did a whole lot of them. And I was like, okay.
That happens to me all the time. All the time. I get M-I-C.
I did it last night.
M-A-K. I get Michaela. I'm like, listen, it's Michaela. Michaela. That's it.
So, all right, I'm going to give you one more chance, Mary Lee Watson. It's 2 R's. Happy birthday, Sherry. Just copy and paste from somebody else, folks. Copy and paste from someone else. Here we go. We're going to do it.
All right.
We have about 20 seconds. I know, and I want to say, folks, if it's automatic, we don't control it. So, yes, I know that, sometimes you don't see your name, but it's nothing we can do outside of report it. But we want everyone to have a chance. So happy birthday, Sherry. We're going to go out with a bang, and let's see who the winner is going to be. All right. Let's get, okay, it's 129. Let's see if we got a 30th. We're going to give away a Daily Hour mug. Here we go.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Okay, come on.
Come on, Mama Patterson.
Come on, Mama.
Taking those steps towards your mug. Oh, thank you. So congrats.
Congrats, Faye.
Because it's Sherry's birthday, you're getting a gift. Sherry, do you want a gift from Miss Faith the Rosa Goat since it's your birthday too?
Yes, of course.
Like, what you mean? Obviously.
Yeah, I had to it took a minute to register. Yes.
Anyway, what are your final thoughts on today's show, Sherry?
My final thoughts are like Ariana said, failing forward, live your best life, and celebrate yourself. That's what I'm going to do this weekend. Just celebrate yourself, and just celebrate and love yourself. It's good stuff.
Kales,
Yellow.
Daily inspiration from you, along with your final thoughts, please.
Sure. So my final thoughts are just let's use every day to level up a little bit and be that best version of ourselves, because that, my friends, is where the magic happens. And our inspiration. When life gives you 100 reasons to break down and cry, show life that you have a million reasons to smile and laugh. Stay strong.
Oh, I love that one.
That was great.
Yeah. Honestly, really, really awesome conversation from Juneteenth right to Ariana. Really, really enjoyed her. I hope we get to speak to her more often. I'm going to pick on Mama Patterson. Mama Patterson, I hope you're holding my hand while we take these steps because my feet hurt. I might need a piggyback ride. Look, it's an awesome conversation. I think that at the end of the day, it is a gesture, Juneteenth, but we need more. We need more.
Yeah.
Only Kayla stated, continue taking these short steps. It's been a pleasure to do this show today. Don't forget, we won't be back until Tuesday. Sherry, really do wish I could be there with you to have a Heineken Zero to celebrate your birthday. I know that you're going to have a great one anyway, and I am quite confident that the gods of our ancestors will be watching over us so we can celebrate many more birthdays with you. So,
thank you. I will be rum swizzling. I had a glass of rosé on Wednesday in honor of Michaela. Didn't ask me what kind it was, but it was great.
Listen, I'm gonna hook you up with the best ones, okay? Because I'm gonna full list. I've got it all.
Okay, all right. I'm looking
forward to the Rosé Girls, folks. Don't forget, tune in to the Full 100 Radio immediately following this show. It's a soca party going down. Thanks again to our partners, Medical Health One Communications and Linda's, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. If you haven't already, please be sure to do what, Kales?
Like, love, follow, subscribe, share, all the things.
All of our social media.
All right.
All of our social media. Always, we appreciate you. We love you. And we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you next Tuesday. She's Michaela Ian. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman, my friends. Make it a safe, happy holiday weekend.
Yes.
Cheers, my friends.
Cheers.